Next in a series of players that wasn't a series that wasn't entitled Should I Stay or Should I Go? I think we'll have a look at Andriy Yarmolenko. Now, what does the future hold for Andriy Yarmolenko? This is very much about will he feature next season. Now, bearing in mind, and I use the phrase lightly, the spending spree that David Moyes wants to embark on. And the reason I use this phrase lightly is because I don't think it's going to be tons of money. I do think it's going to be championship players. It's all very well that David Moyes likes his what he calls the Red Bull model, which is not really Red Bull model, but what he wants to do is buy players from the Championship. It's a good job he wants to do that, because quite frankly, I think the desire from the owners to start buying players for 40 million quid from Syria or the Bundesliga is pretty much gone. So I don't want to call it a spending spree, but if it is 10 million here, 10 million there, and another 5 million here, and 25 million or whatever, then money's going to have to come from somewhere, as I alluded to in the David Sullivan video. Some players are going to be sold. Now, I do not think that we are necessarily going to get back our money that we got for Yarmolenko, but I do feel by him coming back to fitness and looking as good as he did, particularly against Chelsea, it may well have pricked the ears up of a couple of clubs who thought he was finished. Maybe there are a couple of clubs who think, actually, you know what? This guy can come in and he can do a job for us and he can score goals. So I think it's quite possible that somebody might come in and buy him. And when I say buy him, I mean a few million quid. I think bought him for 17, we get nothing like it. 8 million quid, 7 million quid, and we get his wages off the wage bill, which are significant wages, by the way. So I think there are clubs that might do that in the current climate, quite possibly. Would David Moyes like to keep him on board? I think ideally, if money wasn't an issue, David Moyes keeps him on board. I think to operate as that guy off the bench, I think Gio made the point the other day, I think David Moyes probably does trust him now. He's aware of his qualities, he knows he can come in and he can do a job. But if actually David Moyes bringing in players is dependent on him generating some funds from within the squad, because as I mentioned before, there's no ticket money coming in, because David Sullivan doesn't want to put another 30 million quid in. So he's got to sell. You've got to sell before you can buy, David. Then I do think that that Yarmolenko gets sacrificed pretty quickly. I don't mean not the, you know what I mean. Sold, not sacrificed, literally, of course. So I do think that. So whilst I think the manager likes him, I do think that is very much based upon him not needing to sell him. And I actually think if there's offers there, possibly he's one of the first names out the door. Is there a future for Yarmolenko at West Ham? I think there probably is. I think he can do a job for us, but I do think it's as a bench player. There is no way that he's getting into the team, because Andriy Yarmolenko might be a fine player. He might be a wonderful finisher. But Andriy Yarmolenko's biggest problem is called Jared Bowen. And he just ain't going to get in the team ahead of him, just because he produces so much in terms of assists and works so damn hard. He's also got age on his side as well. So that's a difficult one. I think really the question is, bearing in mind Jared Bowen's our first choice right winger, I think the question has to be, can we afford to have a injury prone £17 million, 85 grand a week reserve right winger on our bench?